Hey everyone, welcome back to the Mudhorn. It's been a little while since the launch of Flamekeeper, but I am back on a semi-regular schedule now, thanks to February being about over, and my kids have no more birthdays for the rest of the year, so that's good. Before we get started, I just want to remind everyone listening or watching that if you go to the Flamekeeper Patreon, you get this and our other podcast, which is the ALEHORN and the Metal Forge. Sorry, early. And some other perks. So if you're interested in that, it's patreon.com/flamekeeper. So today's topic is should be a pretty fun one. We are going to talk about guilty pleasure movies. Movies that you like and everyone else downs, or just ones that people just don't know about, maybe stuff like that. So I got Mark joining me, host of the Metal Forge, the flagship podcast of this endeavor here.
Come on, I don't know that.
Yeah, before we get started, make sure you go back and listen to the last 2 months of interviews on the Metal Forge. There's some really good ones on there. Becky Baldwin, we got Athena was just aired.
From the band Midnight.
The guy from Incantation, I can't remember his name.
John McEntee.
Yes, yeah, John McEntee. And Dave Ellison.
And David Ellison.
Yeah, yes. Just to name a few. And then we got some good ones coming up too. So if you want to know what's coming on the Metal Forge, just go to the website or sub to the Patreon, and you'll get the episodes early, so you can be in the know before anybody else.
Yeah, definitely. Usually they come out about 2 to 3 days early, depending on. Usually I try to have them the Wednesday by the week of publish. So yeah. So check out flamekeeper.com/
Patreon.com/flamekeeper.
Yeah. Man, I've been on a roll. I've been macking out everything and telling people, be like, go to here, and I'm hopefully people are coming through. So,
dude, I am the worst talker, man. Sometimes I wonder why I do this shit, but anyway, it's still fun. So, all right, Mark, let's get started. We're gonna do, before we really get started though, we need to do our Star Wars check-in. The Mandalorian season 3 is upon us. I'm pretty excited. What's your hopes for this season, Mark? Anything?
Well, it's interesting. I was looking at the actual wiki, not Wikipedia page, and see that it's going to be another 8 episodes, which is awesome. I love short format seasons. The only thing I don't like about them is that it takes a year to get back. But it's Star Wars, so I think Star Wars has the deal with me where it's okay to do that because it was 3 years between movies.
Yeah.
So with this, there's another 8 episodes. It's really cool because Jon Favreau has his fingerprint on every single episode this time. And I wasn't a big fan of his before this season.
Right.
Or before this series, rather.
Yeah, I know you.
And he really has pulled through with the expanded universe Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's pretty cool because they're opening it up to a few more directors, it seems like, but the old crew of directors is coming through, like Bryce Dallas Howard is, so she's back. But Carl Weathers is directing an episode this season as well.
He did last one too. It was the one with Cara Dune and him.
That was cops.
Yes. Yeah. That one. Yep. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. And also Bad Batch is still going. And if you haven't been keeping up with that, it's actually pretty damn good. So
I have not actually. I'm weird on the animation.
Some people, it's not for everybody. But I will say, man, like a lot of the backgrounds and stuff, especially in space, like sometimes you can't even tell it's an animation. Like it looks so good. But like the characters obviously like set it apart from
yes,
the high end.
I thought that with the Family Guy trilogy too. Yeah. The space battles looked so good in there that it didn't look like actual like Family Guy animation in certain scenes. And so I totally get that.
Yeah, but yeah, it's really good. I'm enjoying it, and I think it's like 15 episodes or 16, so it's like almost half. I think it's a little over halfway now. So cool. We'll be getting a double dose of Star Wars for a few weeks anyway. In the Mandalorian and Bad Batch. So It's a good time to be alive, I guess, as I say.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of stuff going on. But
Yes.
yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool that uh, Dave Filoni is an interesting mix for season 3 here, because he's only listed on Wikipedia as writing 2 episodes with
Really.
John Favreau. And usually he's been like one of the top guys with the expanded universe stuff.
I think he's doing the Ahsoka series
Oh, so that
mostly.
might.
And I think also the what's the one with the space pirate one? With Jude Law. I can't remember what it's called now.
I am not sure.
We'll look it up. Yeah, it's like coming out. It's coming on pretty this year, I think.
So with the it's been a while since we've been here.
Yeah.
So let's kind of backtrack a little bit, I guess I should say, and say I know you didn't care for the Andor series.
No.
And I kind of did, actually, because it wasn't like, I appreciate the attention to episode 4 it paid, where it's just a story in this small section of the galaxy.
Yeah.
As opposed to seeing tons of different worlds, I like that, as opposed to, the thing in, what is it, the Last Jedi, where they go to the casino planet and try to get a code breaker who doesn't really help them, and all of that stuff. So when it comes to that, I would have to say that it's definitely better than The Last Jedi.
Dude, that part. By the way, that show is called A Skeleton Crew. That was trying.
Oh yes.
The part that gets me is I sent this to you in a message, is when you're reading the recap, and it's like Finn and Rose go to this planet where people are gambling. These people are bad. They find horses and children locked up as slaves. They find this guy that does nothing for them, but they free the horses but leave the kids as slaves behind. I'm like,
yeah.
It's like, yeah, you know what? You put it that way, it's even dumber than I remember.
Yeah. Thanks, Rian Johnson.
Yes. We should have him on and just dogpile him.
Dude,
he won't come on.
Hiding.
Do what?
He's probably in hiding.
Yeah.
He probably will never attend a con or anything else that has anything to do with Star Wars ever again.
Yeah, it was clear he doesn't understand it. He just wanted his name attached to that franchise.
I wonder if in 30 years that it'll have some kind of cult classic vibe like Masters of the Universe.
No, it won't. Because it's part of a larger story, and the shit sucked. I mean, it just didn't make any sense. It did nothing for the story.
Right.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, Master of the Universe is a standalone. I mean, it is what it is. But episode 8 just pretty much fucked episode 9 and retroactively episode 7, because now there's nothing worth shit coming after 7. So why even rewatch 7? I like 7. I thought it was
7
good.
Standalone film at this point. 7 is the end of the series.
To me, it might as well be
7 and 9. I don't mind The Rise of Skywalker. I don't mind that film. I've always liked Palpatine, so this might be a guilty pleasure. We're talking about guilty pleasures.
Yeah, it could be.
I've always loved the Palpatine character, no matter what. Even when he was the weird looking guy in the original release of episode 5.
Yeah.
That he, you're like, Vader is such a badass. He's the baddest motherfucker in the galaxy. And then you find the Emperor, who is even more badass.
Yeah.
In that scene in Jedi where Luke says to him, he's like, your overconfidence is your weakness. And without a shred of time, he immediately flashes back over onto Luke and says, your faith in your friends is yours. And fuck, man, he's a fucking dick. I like him.
He is a pretty integral part in Bad Batch right now, and German voices him.
Oh, really?
Yep.
See, it might be worth a watch now.
Yeah, it's actually more. There's a sub plot in there about how the clones turn to stormtroopers.
Okay. Okay.
I would recommend it, man. It fills in a lot of holes of just some stuff. And also, let me also highly recommend Tales of the Jedi for anyone who hasn't watched it, because that has some really cool plot hole backstory that I really enjoyed a lot.
Tales of the Jedi is the different animation style segments, right?
No, it's the same animation style as Clone Wars and Bad
Okay.
Batch. You're thinking of Visions, which is the anime style stuff.
Yes, which I like that.
Yep, I do too. Actually, there's a season 2 I haven't watched yet.
Same. The first season was really good, but I like Studio Ghibli and stuff like that. I like Akira, Ninja Scroll, those style movies. And so, yeah, that was like a given for me.
Speaking of Ninja Scroll, I just watched that for the first time about 6 months ago, and I thought it was fucking killer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I saw it. I think I was a freshman in high school when I saw it the first time.
Yep.
And I was like 15. Yeah, it's badass. Just like Akira.
Yeah, I started really getting into like more accepting anime more as I got older, just because like stories are so good. I've heard Attack on Titan's really good too, but I haven't started watching it yet. But I hear it's pretty damn awesome.
It's funny because with that, one of the cool things I've always wondered was like, so you get the fans out there who will watch, anime like Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z, but you also have the ones that get like hardcore with it, like you've got to watch it with the subtitles.
Yeah.
As opposed to the English dub, because the English dub is nothing of what was actually said and stuff like that, right? To the quote real storyline.
Yeah.
But I often wonder what and because the Power Rangers is the same way, right? It's one of the deals where all the battles are all stock footage from the Japanese version, and the only thing was different was the kids at Angel Grove High. They were the only filmed segments for the United States, right?
Right.
And it makes me wonder, like, if like the New Adventures of He-Man in like the very early '90s when He-Man became anime. If it was reused footage from like another show over in Japan.
Could be.
Because it's not He-Man at all. Okay. Right. He's like he kind of reminds you, he's like a space pirate knight.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
And it's such a horrible storyline. And all of the villains look like garbage.
Yeah.
And all of the other heroes look like garbage.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. It used to be on Cartoon Network for a while, like in repeats. I remember watching it one night. It's like this is not good.
No, it's definitely not. And what the funny thing to me is like with it, when you have like the whole series on DVD or whatever, it only gives you like the 10 most popular episodes rather than the entire series. Because even you knew that entire series was garbage.
Yeah. Also, that's probably like a fit on there too, is 10 on a DVD.
Oh yeah. They didn't want to waste another 4 discs for the show.
Yeah, I mean, what's 30-minute episode, like 22 minutes. So you put like 4-hour movie on there, so it's about 8 episodes. Yeah, that's about right. Downscale a little bit, you probably get more data on there. So
yeah,
that's about right.
And that's the thing too, is like I think one of those deals where it only had 1 season, I believe. Broken in.
Not sure. Yeah.
But anyways, speaking of, we're here to talk about the guilty pleasures, and then I've kind of already brought it up. One of them.
You go first. Then let's start with Masters of the Universe.
One would be Masters of the Universe, the film.
Yeah, man.
I mean, most kids that were playing with He-Man when they were like 8 and 10 in 1982, and when that movie came out in '87, they're going to be, 13, 15 years old at that point.
Yeah.
And they're absolutely going to hate it because it's nothing like the cartoon or the figures.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, first of all, when they just dismissed Orko from existing, I was like, something's not right about this. Even as a 7-year-old, I'm like, where is Orko? It's like, what does this do with this damn weird instrument? Like, Billy Barty's character, Gwendor, is that it?
Gwildor,
yeah, I was close.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, I haven't watched it in like 10 years, but yeah, I mean, like, I thought Skeletor was pretty well done. I thought Evil Lyn was pretty good. Then they had like that guy Blade, and then a couple other new ones that I didn't know.
Beastman looked great.
Was Beastman in that? Okay.
Yeah, Beastman was the only, other than Evil Lyn, Beastman is the only holdover villain from the show and the toy. Was Beastman, but the difference with Beastman is he did not talk.
Sure.
He only growled and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, Blade was given a original 5.5 release action figure back in the 80s for the movie, and so was Gwildor.
Okay.
Actually, and no, I'm sorry, Sarad was too, the lizard guy that Skeletor like disintegrates in front of everybody.
Yeah.
And his action feature was a spark in his chest.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Gwildor's was he came with the cosmic key.
Gotcha. Yes, the one that plays shitty songs, 80s songs.
Yeah.
Synth songs. Yeah, like I said, that movie, I mean, I thought Eternius stuff was pretty good. I thought if they kept it on Eternius, they go on the Earth, it might have been regarded much better, even though they had different characters.
Right.
But that end battle is just so lame. There's a documentary on Netflix about Masters of the Universe, and they get into the making that movie pretty heavy. And then there's also a documentary. I don't know if it's still on Netflix or not. I saw it but it's about the whole movie studio or movie company. Yeah, how they just like put out all of this shit and just spent no money on stuff.
Yes.
Superman 4 was a big one too. That they had the rights to it. It was just like so bad.
What was it?
Superman 4.
Oh yeah.
Quest for Peace.
It's Canon Films. It was Golan and Globus.
Yeah, that was it.
I can't remember. It's like Mannheim is one of their first names. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was so cool because I love that documentary because they talk about everything. Because like Cobra is Canon Films movie.
Yep.
And they talk about there's something in the documentary for that where Stallone is bitching about the film and how awful it is during making it, and they're like, well, if you didn't need the extra money for your wardrobe and security or whatever, we would have a bigger budget to film a better movie. And apparently he like gave up his stuff the next day and shit. So
for anybody who's never seen Cobra, just go on YouTube and just type in Cobra grocery store scene, and you'll pretty much see what it's all about.
Yes. That would be a guilty pleasure for me. Cobra is. But what's interesting is like Stallone was that guy in the 80s, if you notice. Like Rambo and those, and coming off of like Rocky and stuff. But when you really think about like cheesy 80s films, I mean, he probably had more than anybody.
Oh, sure.
Because he would sign. I mean, dude's got to work. I get it. He'll sign his name to anything, I guess. Because you had Cobra, Over the Top, Tango and Cash,
like flipping the switch.
Yeah, right. Dude, here's a little story, little anecdote for Overload with this. I have a line in a song that I say over the top. And when Mike was playing guitar, he would always do backup vocals. And I'd be like, over the top. He would go, yeah, on the microphone live.
Nice.
So now that he's back on drums and he doesn't sing, when I say the line over the top, I'll immediately do this and make like the muscle sign.
Yeah.
The flex.
Yeah, it's good shit, man. There's just not enough truck driver arm wrestling movies out there. Like, it's not even enough to be a genre. It's like,
My favorite scene.
Where are they?
Right. My favorite scene of that movie is the Rocky IV montage in it, where he's in Rocky IV, because he's training in Siberia and shit.
Yeah.
And he's like being followed by the Russian government and all that. And he's training with fucking logs and fucking shoveling shit around the cabin and over the top, he does the exact same thing, if you notice, because he's like doing like pull-ups on the back of the car of the semi truck. And yeah, his training montage is like, you do what you got. Well, you do with what you got.
You gotta save all that. You gotta save all that for our Stallone countdown, our best of Stallone countdown episode.
Are we gonna do a best of Stallone?
You know it, man. You got to. Versus Schwarzenegger.
I gotta. Yes, that was gonna be my thing. Do a top 5, and you gotta pick between Stallone and Schwarzenegger for a top 5.
Yeah, we could do that. That sounds fun.
There you go. Yeah. We could probably do that now, even.
We could, but we need to fill out months.
Good, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go with my next one, and I brought visual aids because why not? I've talked to you about this before. I'm going Waterworld. I have the Arrow collection with the 3 different versions in it. Some of it's pretty hardcore, man. There's stuff like where he beats the woman with a oar paddle and stuff like that. It wasn't in the original movie and stuff. So
I've only seen the original.
Yeah, this has the only aired once TV version, and then it has like an international one with like even more than the TV version.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so like I said, I know a lot of people think this movie sucks for whatever reason, but I think you're wrong. I think this movie fucking rules, man. It's like Mad Max on fucking water,
Yeah, but I think it's not. I don't think it has anything to do with the movie itself. I think it has to do with the cast.
Yeah,
primarily one person. And I mean, I love the actor as it is because I love pretty much everything I've ever seen him in. But there came a time and a place in the 90s where he almost became an action star.
Right. And
that was the film that was his big action movie. And it flopped. And he never really did another. He only did one other action film after that?
Kevin Costner?
Yeah.
Let's see. Dances with Wolves the first big one. And then it was like Untouchables. And then maybe
Untouchables was in the 80s though.
Was it? Okay. And then so was Dances with Wolves, wasn't it?
No, it was like early. It was like 99.
Oh, okay. All right.
Here, let me
Robin Hood obviously was a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he did the Wyatt Earp movie that came out at the same time as Tombstone and never really had impact.
Yeah. Dances with Wolves was in 1990.
1990, okay.
But I mean, that's historical. And, to me, historical reigns a little bit of a different deal with action.
Right.
It might have action in it like Tombstone, but it's an action history film. But the same thing with Dances with Wolves. But like when you look at something like Waterworld, a futuristic thing, 3,000 Miles to Graceland is an action film.
Oh, dude, yeah, I forgot about that one. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's really the only like real action film I like him in.
3,000 Miles.
Don't get me wrong, I love like Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. I think that's one of the best Robin Hood movies ever. Like casting alone, like Alan Rickman and Kevin, it's fucking Hans Gruber, of course, and
Morgan Freeman's that too.
Morgan Freeman, and I wasn't even thinking of him, but
it's all to paint you.
Yeah, right. It's going to paint me. But not just that, but even the guy who plays Top Dollar is in it. From The Crow, he plays the sheriff's cousin.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I know who you're talking about. I don't know that guy's name, but I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah, Michael Winscott.
Sounds close.
Yeah, it's something like that. But yeah, regardless of that, it's a great film too. So
yeah,
but okay, so you said Waterworld. So
yep.
give reasons why.
Dude,
why is it like, what is it for you that does it, that is like this guilty pleasure?
Well, I like Mad Max. A lot of people shit on it. So I was a lot of people shit on it. So when I was like heard that it was getting bad reviews, I was actually overseas when it came out in theaters. I didn't get to watch it until it was on VHS because it wasn't in theaters very long. I was like pretty much in Europe for 2 weeks with my mom visiting family at the time.
Holy shit, dude!
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So when I came back, it wasn't playing anymore. So I had to wait, and VHS took forever back then.
Yeah, it was like 7 or 8 months.
Yeah, so like my dad took my brother to go see it, and he was like, "Man, this movie was so awesome," and getting to that. So like my dad built it up, and then when I saw it, I was like, "Man, everything about this movie is just great to me. Like it's Mad Max on water. The stunts are real. Dennis Hopper was awesome in it.
He really drank his own pee.
Yeah, Dennis Hopper was awesome in it. Like I like how the Exxon Valdez was their vessel, and they were called smokers, and they just threw lit cigarettes down into the damn oil reserve, and they had a guy down there like fucking measuring all the time and shit. And he's like, yeah, it's just like the characters were fucking whacked out, and like I just loved everything about it.
Right.
And even the extended one is even better. It has like way more shit in it with like Dennis Hopper, who is deceased now. But I think it's one of his best roles. Like I love Deacon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can get that. Yeah. And I need to go back and do like a secondary watch on it, because it's been a long time since I've seen it. And because like after it came out, and once it came out on video, that was around the time like, pay-per-view really became like a big thing, especially around the house. Like, because that's when like all of like the movie, you had like 99 movie channels on your like prime cable and shit, right? And it was all pay-per-view. And I remember Stargate and Waterworld being on there the most.
Mm-hmm.
So absolutely. But I will segue to a new guilty pleasure movie, because it is a perfect segue, because the villain is the same person.
Nice.
It is Dennis Hopper. So you know what my next guilty pleasure movie is?
What you got?
The Super Mario Brothers.
Dude, I can't get behind you on that one, dude. No.
It's cheesy to the fact of how cheesy it is. It cannot be measured, because like just from like Ba-Bomb and Bullet Bill just being like, Bullet Bill goes in your boots and makes you jump faster, which is funny because if you ever notice, if he jumps on a Bullet Bill in the game, he does jump a lot higher than jumping on just like a turtle.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it kind of makes some bit of stupid sense.
Yeah.
But the whole parallel dimension thing, John Leguizamo being Luigi.
Yeah.
And to the whole like Mario is his name. That was a little bit much.
Yeah, it's pretty. That movie was just like an anomaly to me, like how weird it was. I mean, it's just like, what the fuck were they? What game did they look at to base everything on this movie on?
Doki Panic.
I guess. I don't know.
You know what Doki Doki Panic is? It's Super Mario Brothers 2.
Yeah, just reskin.
Yeah, it's the reskin game. And which is funny to me when you think about it, because like who Daisy's dad is, right? Who the king is? It's Lance Henriksen.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
He's in that movie?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He is in one scene at the very end of the film. When he turns back in from the fungus to the king. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I didn't even know that. I've only watched that twice. First time was obviously because it was Super Mario Brothers. I was excited. Second time was just like, did I remember this fucking movie correctly? And I did. It was pretty weird.
My brother, I was out of school one day, and I don't know if I missed the bus or something, and my brother took me to see it.
Yeah.
When it came out in the theater.
Uh-huh.
I saw that film in the theater in like 1993 or some shit.
Yeah.
And it was so awful. But it was so good at the time, you know. It's like watching Masters of the Universe in the theater, because if you were like 6, 7 years old, you know, it's an amazing film. And I think the same thing kind of rings true that Gary Goddard said in that commentary to Masters was, you know, the kids who were, you know, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old at the time when they saw that movie the first time, it's a cult classic for them, and it holds a special place in most of their heart. And yeah, that was like the moral of the story. And I think Mario Brothers is the same thing with that. It's like the kids who watched. I remember seeing Nightmare Before Christmas before it became popular like it.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw it like when it was originally released in like 1993 on VHS, because it went straight to VHS.
Right.
And it was like another like 12 years before it was like plastered all over Hot Topics and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was a big fan of it from the get-go too. I watch it every year still.
Yeah, I do as well.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
So you can't get behind the Super Mario Brothers.
I can't on this one. I mean, I usually find silver lining in everything, but man, that one is just, I don't know, man. It's like very, the world and like the Mario Brothers games are like bright, colorful, and like kind of zany. This one's like gritty and like dark, and it's like very, the tone is just not there, you know. Like it's like characters in name only, really, you know, and colors. Mario wears red, Luigi wears green. Yeah.
Right.
And yeah. So yeah, that one's a tough one, man. I don't know.
Yeah, that is a rough one.
I am due for a rewatch just because like there's some movies you're just like, is it really that bad? And then they get to watch it, it's like, oh yeah, it is that bad.
Definitely. All right, what else you got?
13th Warrior. Yes.
I have never seen it.
Do what?
I have never seen it.
You know what? I'm gonna mail Waterworld to you and 13th Warrior, and I'll pick it up and see it at the show.
No, you don't have to do that.
Yeah, so this one's a big flop. I don't know why, because I thought it was pretty badass. Like it's Vikings and Arab people fighting for a common goal. So like the diversity is kind of there, you know. But yeah, it's like a cool villains in it, and the set pieces are awesome, and it's violent and bloody. And it's Michael Crichton who did Jurassic Park. So, and John McTiernan actually directed it, who did, you know, Predator and Die Hard and stuff like that. So like everything's there for this movie to be regarded much better than it is. And it's not even on Blu-ray yet. Like I had to buy it on DVD. Like,
oh wow,
yeah. I mean,
with it, yeah. When did it come out?
90. I want to say 98. Let's see. I might have to Google it. I don't see it on here anywhere.
Well, I guess what I'm saying, what is interesting about it is that it came out in a time where, you know, Antonio Banderas was really starting to get kind of hot in America.
Yeah.
And because before that, yeah, you know, he had like El Mariachi in Mexico and stuff, but like not really any. That's also the same time period of like The Mask of Zorro came out.
Yeah.
And all. So he was starting to become the next big action star.
He did that one with Stallone too, the Assassins movie. Remember that one?
No.
Yeah, he was trying to I can't remember if he was trying to assassinate Stallone or was just like trying to get a target before Stallone. I don't remember. It's been a long time since I saw that movie too. But
interesting. Yeah, I'll have to look that up.
It's called Assassins, I think.
I just like had this moment in time here where I thought of this is like you're like, oh, it's this Stallone movie, and it's like with Antonio Banderas, and it's like,
Mhm.
think of like all the independent musicians out there that have released music that no one's ever heard of.
Sure.
Here you're telling me about a Stallone film that I've never heard of, and it's
Right.
like Stallone. Everybody knows who this motherfucker is, but like, you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like the interesting parallel. Like, do they just put out movie after movie after movie like we do song after song?
Some do. Nicolas Cage apparently he puts out a lot of
That
years.
was still the best fucking meme ever. Nicolas Cage through the years.
Face off.
Yeah, or it's
Yeah.
John Travolta's face in
Yeah.
'97.
Yeah. That's a good movie, man.
Almost a guilty pleasure.
I think it's regarded well enough not to be like
Yeah,
laugh at me.
exactly.
Yeah. These are like my picks are like shit that people will probably laugh at me about if I told them. It's one of my favorites. You know. I mean,
Oh,
actually, a lot of people, 13th Warrior, I bet a lot of people nowadays, like in the last 20 years, probably don't know about this movie.
oh no,
Yeah.
no. Like, I would have thought if you would have just said the 13th Warrior, I would have thought of like what's the ninth gate or whatever. It would have made me think of that, or 13 Ghosts, so like a Johnny Depp film or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's what it would have made me think of. So yeah, I need to check out both of those. Damn.
Yeah, man.
Because like I said, it's probably been at least 20 years since I've seen Waterworld.
Yeah. Let's see.
And I think
came out 90, I want to say 95.
Yeah.
95. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
What you got next?
So for me, this is always interesting because I view this as a standalone storyline. It's kind of like if you were to say, Star Wars, well, which one? And then you got to kind of go with like all of them. The guilty pleasure win for me, and it's got a cult following. It has a huge cult following. The series does. And I was just at a show recently where somebody brought it up to me because I was talking about potential upcoming guests on the Metal Forge.
Mhm.
And is the Phantasm series.
Yeah.
I think guilty pleasure because it came out in a time where it was kind of in between horror because you had the early horror in the 70s with like TCM, but then you had like just on the other side of Phantasm, you had, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Hellraiser, you had all of those. And then the 80s slasher shit. So it came in a point in a time where just kind of like Star Wars, in my opinion, it wasn't fashionable to do horror at that time in the 70s. Like it wasn't fashionable to do space movies in that time in the 70s.
Right.
So the Phantasm series would probably be right up there with me as well. Would be a guilty pleasure. And it's the series because like one obviously is amazing all the way through. Could have been a completed storyline with the way it ends. No spoilers. It's only 40 fucking years old.
Yeah, I don't know what the etiquette is on 40-year-old movies anymore to spoil.
I just do that to be a smartass.
Yeah.
But I suppose it doesn't matter because you were talking about a Stallone film from the late '90s that I never saw, so no spoilers. So yeah, the first one it could have been its own standalone film, and he could have went and done whatever else he did, like fucking Beastmaster. But no, he continued it, and each one got a little bit more deranged.
Mm-hmm.
I think is a good term. But even on the one that Coscarelli didn't write or direct, he only produced it, Ravager, it's still, to me, a Phantasm film. It is still worthy of what it is.
Right. It's funny you bring up Beastmaster because that could have been on my list too. Those are those are something else, especially the last two.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mark Singer, man.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not Boris Vallejo who does the artwork for the cover of that, but it's like a Boris Vallejo style.
Yeah.
And I love Boris Vallejo's work, and he's still alive, actually. I think he just turned like 89 last year.
Wow.
Yeah, and he is still working. So, which that's cool too.
Yeah, that is cool.
His models are just a little bit older now.
Yeah, man, it's been a long time since I watched Phantasm, any of them. I should probably go back and remedy that one of these days. Just go back. I'm sure I can find it on streaming for free on one of these shitty free apps.
Absolutely. And the cool thing about Phantasm now is the payment for, okay, this is a neat deal. There is a character in Star Wars, Captain Phasma.
Yeah.
And is wearing a chrome stormtrooper outfit or order trooper outfit armor. But she wears chrome because of Phantasm.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Because J.J. Abrams was such a fan of the Phantasm movie, he dedicated that character. He's like, oh, could you imagine if there was a stormtrooper, but she was all chrome like the orb in Phantasm? And that's where it came about. And so when he brought that up to, making in the character, because obviously directing it, he paid for a 4K restore of Phantasm.
Oh, nice.
So, and it was basically like Star Wars paid for the restoration.
Yeah. And so Brian Johnson must have hated that movie because he just got rid of Captain Phasma pretty quick. That was it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sucked because that's a terrible arc because she could have been so badass like a Grievous character in my opinion, and they completely dropped the ball. Anyways, we're gonna tangent here.
She can do physical because she was Brianna Tarth in Game of Thrones, which is a physical role.
Right. Oh yeah.
So yeah, I mean, they should have utilized her assets on with this type of acting she can do. Yeah. But anyway, that's enough. Yeah. How many times is Brian Johnson gonna come up in this fucking episode?
Dude, I saw Distortion one time, and this is going to be the new tagline for we are on the Mudhorn.
Yes.
Okay. So I saw Social Distortion as the first big show band I ever saw. And their drummer on his bass drum did not have the band logo or name. He had a comment, just one comment that said, "Someone bring me the head of Evan Dando." And Evan Dando is the vocalist for the Lemonheads and all that. I don't know what the actual deal with it was, but that's how many times Ryan Johnson is going to get brought up because the tagline is the Mudhorn. Will someone bring me the head of Ryan Johnson?
Yes, yes. I should get like a fake head and just like mount it in my background on a pike. I was a fan of his movie with Bruce Willis, Looper. Mm-hmm. But he left such a sour taste in my mouth with Star Wars. I just can't, And I think I have it up there somewhere, but yeah, I just can't do it. It's like fuck this guy. All right, well, let's move on from Ryan Johnson. I'm gonna put him as a tag, of course.
Yeah,
you'll see it. My next one is one called Ironclad.
Interesting. Is that Christopher Lambert?
No, this is a movie with James Purefoy in it. It also has Brian Cox and Paul Giamatti. This is like the most brutal medieval movie I've ever seen. Like I rented it from like the video store when that was a thing, and then I watched it, and this movie was so fucking hardcore, the violence, I had to go out and buy it.
Yes.
I mean, it is like some serious shit. I mean, like when a limb is cut off. Like, it is not a clean cut. It is like jagged and like the bone is sticking out, like cut and like and splintered and stuff like that.
Yeah, because you got to seriously think.
Yeah.
For a sword to create the kind of razor slice that it would be.
Yeah.
That blunt of a blade, like.
Yeah. And you're hitting blades together. It's never going to be that sharp,
No, exactly. So, yeah, like when you see like the Black Knight.
Mm-hmm.
From Monty Python.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like the bone is not cut through that way. You're breaking the bone and ripping the other shit off the other side.
Yeah.
You might get a straight cut at the beginning, but until you hit that bone, it's
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So if you're into like really brutal, like gory shit and you like medieval movies, I would highly recommend this one. The first one only. The second one is garbage. But this one, it's so brutal. I've only watched it twice. But I had to own it because it's just so good. You know. So have you ever seen it before?
No, I haven't.
It's very well,
I'm like cheesy as shit over here. I'm like giving like weird fucking I'm giving like real mainstream shit fucking that everybody knows about. You're like digging into the fucking into the stuff, man.
Oh, I have some mainstream stuff here. Don't you worry. I like films, man. There's another one too called Black Death with Sean Bean. That's pretty good too, but it's not as gory or as good as this. And they come out about the same time. So
What's the one? Is that the name of that movie with Ethan Hawke also? Where he's wearing like the Joker mask?
that's a black. I don't. It's pretty recent, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Black Booth or something like that. Black Phone.
Black Phone. Yeah, I think that might be it.
Yeah, it's on my watch list on Amazon, but
yeah,
I haven't watched it yet. I wish I could tell you about. There's one scene in here in particular. But until you watch it, I can't even say how amazing it is. So I'll wait till you watch it, and then you'll know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
It's like it might be my most favorite scene ever filmed. It's so goddamn ridiculous, but I fucking love it, man. It's so brutal. It involves Brian Cox.
Like that to me.
Brian Cox is involved in the scene. If you don't know who that is, legendary character actor. But yeah, he it's very good. And the tagline is heavy metal meets medieval.
Nice. See, he says Brian Cox is a legendary character actor, but I know Brian Cox as Hannibal Lecter.
That's what I mean. He was Hannibal Lecter. He was also in. Was he in X-Men 2? Was he Stryker?
Yes.
Yes.
He is in X-Men 2. He is in The Ring.
Yeah, I forgot about that one.
I love that scene. The first time I saw that and he did in his scene in there where he's like that, I went, oh shit.
Yeah.
With the bit. Oh.
Yeah. What's your next one?
Honestly, like damn it, I had it and I completely forgot about it. Cliffhanger.
Dude, serious hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's a good one, man. That's a Stallone classic.
It is. And it is such a good fucking movie that's like from everybody in that, from Stallone, Michael Rooker, John Lithgow.
Yeah. The one who's in that one TV show at the time that was big.
Northern Exposure.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I know. I don't know her name. I only Maggie from Northern Exposure.
Yeah, is Jeannie or is Jean something? I can't remember. Yeah.
Yeah. I always had a big crush on her.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was my childhood TV show crush. That was older woman.
Yeah, so the funny story about Cliffhanger is that was the first rated R movie I ever went to go see by myself. my mom took me to work one day. She used to work at a store in the mall. She was a manager. It was like a standalone store, but it went into the mall. So she just gave me like $50 one day, and there was like an arcade in the mall, you know, and across the street of 6 lanes of traffic on the busiest part of town, there was a movie theater. It used to be a movie theater across the street called the Bowcatcher Cinemas 7 because I had 7 theaters. And I remember I was out of like quarters, and I had like $20 left, and I just happened to like see a poster for Cliffhanger like in a store, and I was like, hey, I could go see that and still get back before my mom gets off work. So I went in the store and told her, I was like, hey, can I go see this movie? And she's like, do you think you can make it across the road? I was like, yeah, I can make it across. I was probably 13, I guess. And I probably shouldn't have been doing that, but I did it. I went and I just went up to the cashier. I was like, can I get one for Cliffhanger? They just fucking gave me a ticket. Well, got some popcorn and a drink, fucking went in there, man. I was like, man, this is the fucking best. Like, I did it. I'm 13 watching this rated R movie.
And you probably had $7 and change.
And it's probably like 525 actually, or maybe 475. It was a matinee. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but no, the drink, the popcorn, and the seat, you probably out of that $20, you probably still had at least $7 in change.
Probably, yeah, 5 or 6 at least. But
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, so that's what I did. I remember that was my first regular movie going to see by myself. Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such, like I said, it's such a good film,
It
like
is. Yeah.
completely underrated. And and there's a lot of stuff that I could put on the list that he has done that is like, like what I'm sitting there saying with like the cheesy film, like the cheesy action film stuff that he's done.
Yeah.
Because I mentioned Cobra, all that shit earlier. But like, to pick Cliffhanger over shit like Demolition Man and Judge Dredd, that says something.
Yeah, I mean, I like those two a lot. But yeah,
I do
Cliffhanger.
too.
Yeah,
I do
Cliffhanger is like
too.
it's a little bit of a notch above at least Judge Dredd. Demolition Man is hard, man. That's a good one.
Yeah, I know.
Especially
It's such a
nowadays when a lot of this shit's coming true. It's kind of funny, Like it's a lot of it like kind of like almost could happen, Like I still get a laugh out of 3 seashell memes, for instance. But
that's so funny. There was an art piece. We have a place here in Louisville called Planet of the Tapes, and they do comedy shows. They've started doing some music shows, but they always play movies. They have
right.
movie night. And in one of their bathrooms was an art piece of the 3 seashells.
Nice.
Okay.
That's a good one.
And somebody fucking stole it.
Oh, what?
Bunch of dicks.
Yeah. Speaking of humor in bathrooms, I went to a bathroom not too long ago, and someone had a picture of the Three Stooges with a magnifying glass on the top of the back of the toilet. I got a kick out of it. I thought it was hilarious.
That is pretty good. So yeah, Demolition Man was in 93.
Yeah, I think Cliffhanger was probably 93 also, 92.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Such a good cast.
Yeah, man.
Everybody in it. It's got, from Glenn Shaddix from Beetlejuice.
Yep.
With him being in it, and Dennis Leary, of course, and yeah, it's just a good, yeah.
Yeah, I was
But
like one of Sandra
Cliffhanger
Bullock's
and
first movies too.
what's that?
I was like one of Sandra Bullock's first movies. Or
Yeah,
big starring roles. Yeah.
yeah. And just
Rob Schneider's in that.
Who is it? Steve Cahan.
Yeah,
Who,
Rob Schneider's in it too, in Demolition Man.
Yeah.
And Judge Dredd, but
yep. And Judge Dredd, yes.
Yes.
That was like their big comedy 2-pack.
Yeah, it didn't last very long, so I don't think it did anything since.
No, I don't think so. But it's like I can only imagine Sly being like, "Yeah, this is Rob. He's funny."
Yeah, and it's like, oh, the movie bombed. Let's not put him in it no more. It's probably his fault.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, man, Cliffhanger's a good one, dude. That's a really good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I'm trying to decide what my next one is. I got some mainstream stuff here. I guess I'll go. Let's go with this. Let's go with this one. Reign of Fire.
All right.
Yeah, from back in, I guess, 2005.
Oh no, it's before that even, isn't it?
2007.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this has Matthew McConaughey. Hey now. And then
all right,
Christian Bale. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. All right, Dragon. But yeah, this one's cool, man. Like this is this one's pretty cool because they do a Star Wars reenactment in the in the movie, which is kind of funny.
Really? So it's like,
yeah.
So it's futuristic Earth?
Yeah, it takes place in London. Like there's pretty much like a couple bands of like a military going around like fighting dragons and shit. And yeah, it's just like the dragons are cool and the premise is cool, and I think the acting's really good in it.
Okay. I've never seen it either, but I know of it at least.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I can't remember what year it takes place in. Let me see here. It doesn't say what year it takes place, but it's in the future in London. But Matthew McConaughey is like a kind of like a unhinged American military, and Christian Bale is kind of like just like a survivalist, and they of course clash. Personalities clash, but the action stuff is really cool, and the dragons are fucking awesome. I think the dragons look better than Game of Thrones.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we are 9 years away from the acts of Demolition Man.
Yes, I know it's pretty close.
Yeah, 2032 is when Simon Phoenix breaks out of cryostasis.
Well, I'll be waiting for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
We will all be going to the city of San Angeles.
Man, I can't remember. There was
which
a
is funny, dude. How weird is this? Because I think they sit there and oh shit, I'm gonna have to watch this tonight because she talks about the earthquake, and I can't remember when the earthquake is. That makes San Diego and Los Angeles the Metroplex.
Yeah.
And they're getting crazy fucking weather out there now.
Yeah, how they got blizzards and shit out there, like Southern California.
Yeah, they got snow on the Hollywood mountain.
Well, they can have a little taste of it. We get enough around here.
No shit.
Yeah, I don't feel sorry for them.
Shit.
Yeah. Deal with it. It melts. You're fine. What's your next one?
Hang on. Sorry.
No problem.
Okay. So I had to think about it for a second. In the spirit of like cheesy 80s sci-fi, because once Star Wars happened, it changed the world. You could make anything you wanted to.
Yeah.
You could make sci-fi fantasy where it's set in like, knights with laser guns and shit like that.
Yeah.
Which Krull comes to mind.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good one. Yep.
Where it's like the little 5-sided like
the futuristic ninja star kind of thing.
Yeah. Where it's like 5-sided fucking switchblade.
Yep.
And the crazy monsters in there. They actually had toys back in the day of that stuff.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So I mean, I haven't seen it in a long time, but it is a guilty pleasure, and I do own it. I just haven't watched it for a long time because I think the last time I watched it, I was like, why the fuck did I like this? Because I used to watch it all the time back in fucking the day, back when I was a kid. But yeah, when I watched it as an adult, I was like, what?
Yeah, there's something to get you. It's like, what the hell was I thinking? But yeah.
What's that?
There's something that's like, what the hell was I thinking? Like,
yeah,
I used to really like Ewoks Battle for Endor. Like,
oh yeah.
As a matter of fact, getting really nostalgic. There was a lot of times on TV they would show Masters of the Universe and Battle for Endor back to back, like double feature Saturday or some shit. Yeah, so yeah, those two in particular always like go together for me because I remember very vividly they would just show it was either that or it was like Conan the Barbarian, Destroyer, Red Sonja, like on a Sunday, like triple feature with like highly edited, nothing good in it. Yeah, shut that. But Krull's another one that was always on too a lot of times. So yeah, I haven't seen it in a long time, but I know it pretty well.
Oh yeah, Caravan of Courage.
That one sucked.
Yeah, yeah. That's so funny. How you remember like the Saturday double feature and it'd be like the dumbest fucking B movie shit out there, and it's played on like your ABC affiliate or whatever.
Yeah. Mine was usually like Fox on a Sunday before they had like rights to any sports or anything. It was just like
when
local channel would just like show just double feature like something 1 and 2 like Iron Eagle or fucking something
before they signed off at like 7:00 at night.
And like 2 a.m. to like 6 when the local news come back on. Yeah.
I remember Fox before it had news.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
where
it
it
was
was
felt like weird show that Married with Children, 21 Jump Street, shit like that.
and the Tracy Ullman show.
Yep, yep, I remember that one. Yeah.
Gross. So yeah, I mean, we were talking about Krull.
Yep.
And yeah, that's one of those deals where it's played on like a Saturday afternoon or at 2 in the morning on a Friday night.
Yeah.
Like how I saw Phantasm 2 for the first time.
Right.
You know, because that was the film that introduced me to the series.
Right.
And when I went to my local video store, when that was a thing, as you said earlier, I ended up talking to his name was Scotty. He was the son of the owners, right? It was just basically something for him to do, was run the video store because it's steady money back in the 80s and 90s. And I was like, dude, there's this movie that I saw last night on TV, and I'm like 11 or 12, okay? And I'm like, it had this like silver shiny ball and a tall guy. He's like, oh, that's Phantasm. I was like, dude, I gotta watch it again. Do you have it? He's like, yeah. He's like, are you sure you're allowed to? It's like, dude, it's like, my parents, they're not gonna say anything. So he let me rent it. It's like $3.25, to rent it.
Yeah, new release except for Monday and Wednesday.
Oh no, this wasn't even that. This was the original. So we're talking like it's like 15 years old.
By that point, okay.
Yeah. And yeah, I just remember going home and watching it being like super fucking horrifying because it wasn't the same film that I saw.
Yeah.
And it was just like the introduction to all these people. And I'm just like, holy fuck. It's kind of the same way it was with Aliens.
It's so fun when you're like young and impressionable, man. You just some shit just hits you a certain way. You just never forget it,
No, absolutely. Yeah. So what do you have next?
I'm going another one, man. I don't know if many people saw this one. This is a Pathfinder.
Okay.
This is a movie about a Viking invasion that they fought Native Americans in, and then they left a child behind. So this Viking kid was raised by Indians, basically. And then they come back 20 years later when he's grown, and he helps the Indians fight the Vikings off. So the Vikings are the villains in this movie. But this movie is really cool, man. It's like it's one of those like cool mashups you just don't think about until someone makes it for you. It's like, oh yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Kind of like Loki.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like Marvel probably bought the story and made the Loki story.
But this is it has Carl Urban in it after he was in Lord of the Rings. And
and who I thought was in Reign of Fire with Matthew McConaughey. I thought it was Carl Urban, but it's not.
Christian Bale. Yep. Yeah. But like I said, in Reign of Fire, there's a cool Star Wars reenactment they do as a play. I get a kick out of every time. So it's pretty accurate.
Dude, I love that stuff in movies. That wink and a nod kind of thing, like where Matt Damon, Liam Hemsworth, and Dr. Grant.
Oh yeah, I know you're talking about
Sam Neill.
Yeah.
Where they're all playing Loki, Thor, and Odin in Ragnarok. Yeah, I love that shit. But
yeah, anyway,
you don't realize that's Sam Neill until you look at the credits.
Yeah. The cover art on this is the one that sold me on this movie, actually. If you can see it. Like it's that classic, like Frank Frazetta-esque, stuff. So yeah.
Oh yeah, it's like real Frazetta, yeah. And what's interesting is, that's almost like I don't think there's any tie-in to the game, like the tabletop game of Pathfinder, to that movie. But if you look at the logos, they are strikingly similar.
I'll have to look it up. Yeah, I don't think I've ever.
Are you familiar with the tabletop game?
I know of it, but I don't really know. I never played it or nothing like that.
Right. Yeah, you don't seem like a D&D type guy either.
I respect it, but I just never was exposed to it and learned about it because nobody ever played it around me.
Nah, right.
Yeah, that's why, So So yeah,
I get
one of the
that.
disadvantages of living so far away from other people. It's like I can't really do much.
Dude, I'm that way. I live when I was growing up, I lived 30 miles from Louisville,
Right.
which is, you know, and in the 80s, we're 30 miles from Louisville is the sticks.
Might as well leave
Like,
the house.
closest neighbor was 1,500 feet away.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a hoof,
Yeah.
you know. And then the ones after that were like on either direction of them were like, you know, quarter mile.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty close to that here. My cousin lived pretty close by, but he wasn't into like fantasy stuff like I was, so it was kind of non. It was a non thing. So
Okay.
well, cool. What's your next one?
Honestly, you want to know a guilty pleasure film that's not fucking, it's off the fucking path?
What's that?
Some kind of monster.
Metallica documentary?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
I have that.
yeah, I do too. But it's like for me, it's a documentary, so it's not like, you know, it's different than fucking fantasy and sci-fi and drama and shit. It's real shit to the real shit, right? And as much as I love Metallica, there is something endearing about that film where it's just like, man, fuck, man. Come on, guys, fuck. Oh, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You just, it's like I get a lot of sympathy on them for that.
Yeah.
But then again, there's the other people that are like, oh, fuck those guys, those motherfuckers, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, like for me, that's like a total, like an all sympathy moment film.
Yeah, I remember, like I said, I think we talked about this ad nauseum, I'm pretty sure, a few times, but I was excited for that movie to come out on DVD because they were supposed to release an album of like pretty much finished demos with it.
Yeah.
And from that studio project they just abandoned. And that was supposed to be released and they didn't release it.
Yeah, I know.
I'm really disappointed that that didn't happen. But like I had to go back and look to see if I remember reading that correctly, and I did. I found the article from back in like 2003 or 4.
Yeah, it would. The
Released.
album came out in June of 03.
The movie came
and
out in 4, right?
yes, the movie came out in 4, and the funny thing about it is like the movie came out a month before I saw them for the very first time.
Right. I have it somewhere.
Because I saw Metallica for the first time April 29th of 04.
Right. Yeah, 2004. 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah.
But I do love the,
there you go.
oh yeah. I do love the supplemental material in that where like they all get together for like bowling on one day and just like real fun shit. They have the Hawaiian shirt Friday for Kirk's birthday, and Lars got all fucking pissy about it. Nobody gave me a fucking Hawaiian shirt day.
Yeah, good old Lars, man.
Yeah. He's like, are you okay? He's like, no, I'm not okay. I'm gonna sit here and sulk and eat my chips. He's all shitty.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty. I don't think Lars did himself any favors in that movie. To be honest with you,
no.
Yeah, if you hated Lars before, you really hate him with that movie because he just seems so detached from like fucking reality. Although on a future episode of the Metal Forge, someone who knows Lars personally says he's like one of the nicest guys you ever meet. So I don't know. Like it's hard to say, man. It's hard.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sending that email. They're doing press. So
yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Be like, hey, I had so and so on here. You better
probably get Rob. That's who they send out for.
I don't fucking care.
Yeah, I'll take any of them. Hell, I'll talk to fucking Cliff Bernstein.
Yes.
I'll talk to you about it after this is over. But I have some other ideas too. I'll get with you on. Related stuff.
Yeah, what do you have now? Because Some Kind of Monster, yeah,
Yeah.
it's that aw. And when I need to like have a Hallmark moment, I watch that movie.
Yeah, it's on Netflix too, so you can watch it anytime.
And it has a like a 10 years after
Yeah. Yeah.
thing, which like a half an hour.
Yeah. It's like some film festival or something, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I got two here. I think I'm just gonna go with the one probably everyone is like, what the fuck? I'm not ashamed, dude. Terminator Salvation, man. I like this movie.
Really?
I like this movie a lot, actually. I think the
The
future
preset-
war stuff is cool as shit. Do what?
the production line scene in that movie is great.
Yeah.
I love the production line where it shows the skeleton and then it goes and it's an Arnold.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that didn't look, there's some stuff that's like, what the fuck, guys? But the future war stuff with like all the hunter killers and like, or the HKs for the cool kids in the know, the
Yeah.
HKs and the endoskeletons, the T800 raw T800s with no skin, stuff like
Yeah.
that. I think all that stuff was really cool. I liked it. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
The casting, it could have been better. The guy who played like Kyle Reese kind of sucked. I think he's now actually.
But it isn't John Connor and that Sam Worthington.
No, John Connor is Christian Bale in that movie.
Who is
Sam Worthington is like a hybrid Terminator character who didn't know he's.
Yeah, that's right. I've only seen it the one time, but like that was also like that was during his big boom. If you notice,
yeah, Avatar, and then he did like the Clash of the Titans remake.
Yeah,
some other stuff. Yeah,
and the Wrath of the Titans sequel.
Yeah.
And yeah, he had his big boom period in film, and it's also the same time around that Venom, Bane, the guy who plays Venom.
Oh, Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy. Yes, I couldn't think of his name. That's like when Tom Hardy had his big boom period too, because he's Venom, he's Bane, he's in a few other,
in Mad Max.
Yeah, he's in Mad Max. Yeah, I think it's interesting how this day and age, you have a shorter span of like career, but when you have like in the 80s, you have like Sly and Arnold doing like 8 or 10 films over the 80s, and these it's like farther spread out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that like now it's like now you've got like you had like a Colin Farrell stint where he was a big action star for like 5 films.
Mm-hmm.
And
not sure why, but yeah, he was.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like this is if you watch this again, the director's cut has quite a bit more than the theatrical one. It's actually rated R, which the theatrical one's like PG-13, I think. So yeah, it's better. Like I said, some of the casting's a little but I like the futuristic stuff, and I'm glad I did a movie just on the future wars instead of going back to the past, which actually made it stand out from the other ones because all the other ones go back to the past. This one just stays in the future. Yeah.
Well, honestly, like one of the other sequels to that series is one of my guilty pleasures too, and that's Genesis.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like Genesis because I like the fact that, with what they did with the storyline, that it's like, what are we trying to work against?
Yeah.
And then it's there the whole time.
The thing about Genesis is like they spoiled the whole fucking movie in the trailer.
Yeah, they did.
So like I think a lot of people just didn't care because it was like
honestly, to me, they didn't. They spoiled a lot of the action, yes.
Yeah.
But like the stuff that they didn't spoil in the trailer, like the nano fucking Connor.
Yeah.
Shit. That's what I think was cool about it, is that was like a mind fuck. It's like, holy shit, he's like a new version of the machine.
Yeah.
And when old Arnold came out, where he has like the gray hair.
Yeah.
That was cool. Where he's like he just lived his life just doing the thing,
Yeah. Yeah, my favorite part of that movie is when he's telling But they go like John Reese and Sarah Connor go. I think they go back in the past and come back to the future, and Arnold was like aged the whole time they've been gone, and he was like telling him how he got a job at building Skynet, and that when it was done, they just laid him off. So he's just been like standing around doing fucking nothing for like I don't know how many years. That shit cracked me the fuck up. I don't know why, but it was just
You
like
know what I
Terminator got
think is
laid off.
great? You know, on the Terminator 2 Skynet edition,
Yeah, I
it's
have it.
got okay, yeah. So when you've got like the big deal with it, where it's like the extended director's cut shit.
Yep.
And what I think is hilarious, if you saw the Skynet commercial in there, right?
Yeah.
Where Arnold he's being voice dubbed by somebody else, and he's like, "Hi, I'm Major General such and such."
Yeah.
Yeah, like that shit is hilarious as fuck to me too.
Man, there was a long time ago at Blockbuster. I think it was exclusive to Blockbuster, but there was a version I've never seen since. It's not even on the Skynet edition, and there was like a bunch of stuff with the T1000 that was like going through like John Connor's room and stuff, like trying to find out stuff about him. And that's not even in the Skynet edition. I don't know where you can find it at, but I've never seen it since.
I didn't know he did that either.
Yeah, there's a version. It was like I said, I think Blockbuster Video had rights to only carry this for rental. And now that they're out of business, obviously, I don't know where you would find it. But yeah, it was like there was even more
You would
stuff
find it at Blockbuster
than the Skynet edition.
because there is one Blockbuster still.
The one out in Oregon, Bend. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, they might have it on VHS. I don't know, or because that's what I rented on was VHS. It was like a 3 tape version of Terminator 2.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, it was a lot, but I don't know why they never transferred it over to DVD or anything. I'm sure somewhere it's out there somewhere, but
you know what? That's an awful thing to think about, really. That's just like artists whose master tapes disintegrate over time and it just basically kills it.
Or burn it in fire.
Or burn up in a fire. But think about the movies from the 80s that there is no actual film backup, that were only released on VHS and never got a DVD release.
Yeah.
Think of all of those that are not ever going to be seen again.
Oh, I know. It's like erasing art in a way, just neglect, you know.
From neglect and time. Yeah. Crazy shit.
Yeah, there's a Dolph Lundgren movie. I know.
Red
Dolph Lundgren. Yeah. There was a movie, it was called I Come in Peace, and it was like really good. And I don't know what the fuck ever happened to that movie, dude. I cannot find it. It's not in his IMDb or anything. It's just like,
are you sure it's Dolph Lundgren and not like
it was Dolph Lundgren? Yeah, it was on. I remember my dad watching like HBO one night, like when they showed like Cynthia Rothrock movies or some shit, like 1 a.m. and then it's like there's this Dolph Lundgren movie. And it's like I Come in Peace, and it's like let's watch this piece of shit, And we watched it. It's like, damn, this was actually pretty fucking good. I don't know why this wasn't more well known.
A terrible movie that's with him is Red Scorpion.
There's a lot of terrible movies. Punisher was a pretty bad one.
Oh yeah. You know what? That is a guilty pleasure because I like that Punisher movie.
The first one was when he's like down like the.
If you seriously just take away the name Frank Castle from that, it would just be it could just be Steve Davis.
Yeah.
It could totally be that. Because he is just what he is. He's not like fucking Spider-Man. Arachnid. The amazing Arachnid boy.
We should make that. It sounds pretty good, actually.
I think that already is a thing.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So right on.
Do you have a last one you want to part with?
Do I want to do another one? Yeah, actually.
All right, what you got?
No Holds Barred.
Did the Hogan one?
No, the one with Tracy Lord. No, Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. I haven't thought of that movie in a long time.
The Dookie scene alone. He comes up and he rips a door off a car.
Yeah.
And he pulls the guy out, and you can see that the guy's pants are wet and everything. And Hogan's like, and it's clearly an audio track. It's not a pickup. And he just goes, "What's that smell?" And the fucking henchman goes, "Dookie, Dookie," and he fucking just throws the guy. And it's just like, come on, dude. That scene alone, or when he fucking shoves the check in the guy's mouth and says, "I'm not gonna be around for this when this clears."
Yeah. It sounds like that's like some Schwarzenegger inspired shit for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds like a lot like Running Man stuff, because Running Man has some really good one-liners.
Yeah, like I live you'll pay for the day that you live to see that contract.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna rub it down your stomach and rip out your goddamn spine.
That's a good one. I like the part when he's like signing the paper on the back of on the guy's back, and he like takes the pen, just like stabs it in his shoulder.
Yeah, and he's like, ah.
Yeah, Running Man's weird. Running Man's a strange movie, but it cracks me up because it's so weird.
Now that's a Stephen King movie or script, right?
Yeah, he was a ghost. He was a ghost writer on that one. They called it something else, but yeah, he wrote it, but it was like a short story.
Yeah. See, that's one of the cool things. Like, Philip K. Dick has had a ton of films adapted to sci-fi films. Blade Runner being one of them.
Running Man was one too. Or not Running Man, but Total Recall.
Total Recall, yes. Yeah, Total Recall was We Can Remember It For You Wholesale.
Yeah.
And all the Mars shit is like not real.
Yeah.
That's all added in.
Yeah.
But like the whole vacation scene stuff is what it's about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought the Mars stuff was really cool though. That's my favorite part of the movie.
Dude, I told my drummer, Todd, when Todd was the drummer, I told him, I was like, yes, the name of the next Overload album is gonna be Kuato Lives.
When Micah first had his son, I tried to tell him, like, dude, for Halloween, you should go as fucking Quato. Like, Jonah should go as Quato. You should just like carry him around in your stomach, like makeup and shit. It'd be so gnarly, man. It'd be so
Marshall Bell.
But alas, he did not do it. So.
Oh my gosh, it would be such a good costume, man.
Dude, it was awesome. He was he was born in April, so he would have been like 6 months. So he would have
been the perfect casting.
Oh yeah, perfect size. Yeah, just right, you know.
Oh yeah. So guilty pleasure for you. Your
last one.
Party.
I'm going with Warcraft.
Okay.
Yep. This one also bombed. Notice a pattern with all my favorite movies here. They all bombed. But yeah, this one's cool, man. I wish it did better. I thought this was like one of the better looking fantasy movies since Lord of the Rings for sure. But I think it just came too early, man. It missed the fantasy over saturation phase of entertainment. And yeah, I thought this movie was fucking great.
Did it come too early or did it come too late? The only reason
it came too early. If it came out now, it would probably have done a sequel or two. And if it came out the last 5 years.
Well, the reason why I say that is because it was released well after the game.
Yeah, see, there's World of Warcraft and then there's Warcraft, and they're kind of different games, but like the same universe.
Right.
Yeah. So this was like it was kind of a mixture of both. But World of Warcraft doesn't have a story, but Warcraft does. But the characters were more inspired from World of Warcraft than Warcraft. Right. But the story was more Warcraft than WoW. So
okay. And that's what I'm saying. Like, because when that came out, WoW had its big time, and that's when they released it was well towards the end of that period. Yeah, you still got the fringe players that still play now.
Yeah.
But it's the amazing popularity of it.
Yeah.
What had already started to die off when that movie came out.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, right now fantasy's so fucking oversaturated on TV. Like, I think if it came out now, I think it would probably be more regarded. But it is what it is. Sometimes you just you can't strike gold with everything.
Since we're talking about movies, and I'm gonna have to add this to the list.
Okay.
Is sequelitis.
Yep.
What is the film series with the most sequels?
Goddamn, it probably was Star Trek, but now it's probably fucking Fast and Furious. Dude, they're up to 11.
It's not though.
Well,
I know. Okay,
hold on.
I know exactly what
do you count James Bond movies?
Yes.
Okay.
Because they're all sequels to one another. They're all stories.
Well, the Daniel Craig stuff kind of restarted with Casino Royale, which they made like twice, and then kind of went off on its own kind of thing. So I don't know. It's hard to really. I don't know. It is, but it isn't.
What is there? 25 Bond films?
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be the longest running sequel in my opinion, not counting anything TV related, because things like Gunsmoke ran for fucking 20 years on television.
Right. Yeah. What's your favorite Bond movie?
Oh gosh. Honestly, I can't just say one film is my favorite, because like obviously, Goldfinger is great. Thunderball, fucking even what is it? Dr. No, the first one.
Right.
Even that, they're great films. But so is, A View to a Kill. So is fucking Goldeneye and Tomorrow Never Dies.
Right.
So are, the Pierce Brosnan ones. And not to mention the fucking Daniel Craig stuff, which is fucking amazing as well. Fucking, what is that in Casino Royale with the scene with Mads Mikkelsen in the chair?
Yeah.
Oh, goddamn. Yeah, so no, they are all great films in their regard, but I could not. That's hard. I couldn't pick just one.
I could do three. I could go Goldeneye, Casino Royale, and Skyfall. Yeah.
Skyfall. Yeah. Skyfall is great.
I thought Skyfall really missed an opportunity to have Sean Connery come back when he went to the cabin. Sean Connery should have been in the cabin before he got before he passed. I thought that would have been a really good cameo, kind of like very Indiana Jones-esque, But
it would have been. And what's so fucking awful about that whole deal is, like, with Sean Connery, is he retired, and then he came out of retirement and did a fucking flop film and fucking
Extraordinary League. Yeah, that was the last one.
It's a guilty pleasure. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
it is. But
I've watched that 3 or 4 times.
Huh?
I've watched it 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a terrible film. It was just not. Again, it's not in the right time and the right place.
Yeah.
If it would have came out after Watchmen, I think maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Because they were both written by Alan Moore.
Yeah.
And I think Alan Moore, that was his first real big thing that was put out, and it was like, meh. But then when Watchmen came out, everybody knew how good Watchmen was.
Yeah.
In the comic, in the miniseries. So.
Right. Funny, my stepson said we were at work one day and at the house, and these college kids who obviously their parents gave them all this money. They bought a house to rent out for Airbnb, and me and Corey were putting together. Well, he was putting together furniture. I was like putting stuff on the walls and shit like that. And I texted him. I was like, dude, how can you stand it down there with these fucking people like yapping about dumb shit? And he was like, oh, I'm not in here with them. They're in here with me. I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty good. Later on, I asked him, I was like, dude, have you ever watched Watchmen before? He's like, what's that? I was like, dude, you quoted the fucking line, like the most famous line from that. I was like, how did you do that? Yeah. When Rorschach's in the prison,
Corey's gonna be Rorschach.
Yeah, when he's in the prison,
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah, that was great. I was like, whoa, how'd you do that?
Backwards.
Yeah.
Which is funny because Rorschach is fucking Christian Bale Batman before Christian Bale Batman, if you think about it.
Dude, whatever happened to that actor? I think his name was like Jackie Earl Haley. He did like the
He was in the Bad News Bears.
yeah, but he did the Nightmare remake also, and then I don't really know what else he's been in. Like he was a name you heard a lot. Now it's like you don't ever hear it. Maybe he
He's
quit.
still, dude. He's still active. Jackie Earl Haley, born July 14th, 1961, is an American actor and director. His earliest roles include Moocher in Breaking Away in 1979 and Kelly Leak in The Bad News Bears in 1976, and the sequel, and all three films actually. Right. Let's see. Let's look at what he still says to present. His filmography. He had a voice role in My Father's Dragon last year, and he was in a movie called The Retirement Plan. He has 2 things saying TBA on his Wikipedia page.
Right.
As for television, he's been in Human Target, Preacher, The Tick, Narcos, and The First Lady.
He was in Narcos?
Yeah, he was in 2 episodes. Narcos Mexico, sorry.
Okay. I haven't watched all that one. I have watched all Narcos, but
yeah, he's in. That's funny. He's in The Tick, though. I didn't know that. Huh. Interesting.
He would have been good in Breaking Bad as a minor character too, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's just like who is the guy? He's the guy that Arnold drops off the fucking the side of the cliff or the side of the building in Commando.
Oh, Sully? Or yeah, I think that's his name. Yeah, you're a funny guy, Sully. I'm gonna kill you last.
Yeah. And that actor who's always looked like a raging psychopath to me. Yeah. And he seems like he always plays a raging psychopath, like because he also plays T-Bird in The Crow.
Yeah.
That guy, I can't think of his name. Jackie Earl Haley reminds me of, he could have been in like The Crow or something like that. Like, as he has this, he kind of looks like Tom Petty, honestly, to me. Mm-hmm. So like he would totally be a good fit for like a Tom Petty biopic.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to work somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like an actual biopic, not where it's like actual actors as opposed to documentaries.
No, that's what I mean. Like they had the Elvis movie, and then they did Queen, and then they did Elton John, and then
and I mean it's cool. At least it's not like Rockstar.
Did you see the Elvis movie, that new one?
Not.
It's not bad. It was better than I thought it'd be. Except somehow they included like rap in it, like for the soundtrack. I thought it was weird, but But yeah, I mean, it was like other than that.
I'm not gonna say anything about that because of where rock and roll music came from.
Well, no, it's like it just didn't fit the feel of the movie, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway,
it's like modern rap that doesn't feel like it fits the movie because you know Elvis's last released song was remixed by and used in like the Ocean's 11 soundtrack.
Right.
So,
but yeah, it wasn't bad. Like, the guy who played him did pretty good. Tom Hanks is a little weird in it, but you know,
it's Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
About weird tangent movies. Like he's all like respectable. He's like Mr. Respectable Actor now.
Yeah. Because
he was in some 80s sleaze, like The Burbs and Bachelor Party and shit like that. And it's like after he like did like a couple of kid movies like Big, Turner and Hooch, he became Hollywood's dad.
Yeah. He was good in that Road to Perdition with Jude Law. He was like the
Yeah.
hitman. That was a good one. But yeah, I'm not. And of course, Saving Private Ryan, obviously. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
Philadelphia.
And also the beach ball one.
Castaway.
Castaway, yeah, I think so. Yeah.
The volleyball.
What's the volleyball? Yeah, whatever it was.
It's Wilson. It's a volleyball.
Yeah, my cousins have a last name Wilson. They have a volleyball with the handprint. So yeah.
I don't know what to say to that.
I don't either. It took me a long time to put two and two together on that, but finally it clicked for me one day. I was like, oh, I get it now. So.
But I mean, that thing you do, and he's pretty consistent in everything, I think.
I haven't watched a lot of his stuff like lately, to be honest. Like I think the last thing I saw with him in was probably Road to Perdition, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, the Da Vinci Code is good.
I didn't watch any of those.
Catch Me If You Can is great with him and Leo.
Yeah, I know of it, but I don't think I ever watched it.
You should. It's pretty good. It's about a forgist or a forgery guy.
Yeah. All right, Mark. Well, let's before we go on forever and ever and ever here.
Right.
Which one of my recommendations are you going to watch first, you think?
I'm probably going to end up probably go back with Waterworld.
Waterworld, okay. That's a good one. Just don't sleep on this one.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, don't do the second one. The second one's not good. They're both straight to video, but the second one is super straight to video. This one was probably like limited release, independent theaters and shit. Because the studio is Arc Entertainment, which I don't even know if they're still around anymore. But
probably not.
Yeah, they weren't
those deals.
It wasn't anything like Paramount or anything like that.
So get this. That's so funny that you say that about that, because it's like a lot of those film companies like Sony and all these major fucking, film moguls, right? Create independent companies for the tax write-off, and they will buy up the rights to films like that, give them like a shit release, like, almost before the film is done, it's like already out on video.
Yeah.
Like in Spaceballs. Mm-hmm. And but it's all just done as a tax write-off. So you'll never get like another version of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy shit.
Yeah, it's pretty wild how shit works. Like even like, like craft beer, for instance, that industry. If you ever see like a craft beer commercial, like nationally televised, like on Super Bowl,
yeah,
it's actually owned by one of the bigger companies. They do it. They do that shit to infiltrate the shelf space on the craft beer part of the grocery store, like the grocery store aisles.
Yeah.
So like for instance, like you see like Shock Top. It's like, oh yeah, we we're from Wisconsin and we do it all here. It's all bullshit. It's like Budweiser just like fucking throwing some shit. It's like a spyware almost, like just to take up room on the shelf from the smaller companies.
Right. It's them like pretending to be something that they're not.
Exactly. Like I said, I mean, the guy, there's a really popular one around here called Burial, who David Paul Seymour does all the artwork for and stuff. Right. And I was talking to him one day, and he was like, if you ever see a craft beer commercial, it's not craft beer. Don't fall for it. He was like, he was like, why they always show like Bud Light and stuff, like ice cold Bud Light, blah 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 blah. It's because rice tastes like shit, and if it's cold, you can't fucking taste it. Stuff like that. It was like really interesting, like how like the big people, like the big companies, just like, really just don't make anything but just swill. There's no.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's like when you seriously think about that, they do make just swill.
Yeah,
because it's all about maximization of the dollar.
Yeah.
Make it for as little as you can and sell it for as much as you can.
But the thing that kills me on the Bud Light commercials is like, oh yeah, just 4 simple ingredients like water, barley, rice, and something else. Like rice. Why would you fucking brag about that? It's like white rice to be on top of that. It's like there's no flavor. There's no flavor, it's just rice water.
Right?
Yeah, except for Coors Light, which I will give them. You can also substitute your dishwashing detergent with Coors Light because it's about the same goddamn texture in your mouth. It just tastes like a bunch of fucking soap. So that's
why you should drink Banquet.
The Banquet.
Yeah, it's regular Coors.
Yeah.
I mean, Banquet is the way to go.
No, I do drink a lot of local flavors from here because goddamn, there's more breweries than fucking churches around here nowadays. I swear to God, dude.
Well, I mean,
it's a good problem to have, but they're all kind of like the same now. So
at least you don't have like Blue Law.
What is it?
Blue Law.
What is that?
It's where you can only sell alcohol during certain times of the day or in certain parameter of a church and shit like that.
We used not too long ago. They just repealed the no beer before 12 on Sunday. That was actually a real thing for a long time until about 2 years ago. You can, if you went to the grocery store like early, like you went like 10 o'clock, get all your groceries, get back in time for the game. You're checking out 10:40 with your fucking 12 pack. Sorry. It was so goddamn annoying, dude. I can't tell you how many times I fucking did it. And then one day, they were just like, hey, you can buy beer, at 6 a.m. I was like, oh, cool. On a Sunday. It's like, finally, thanks.
Here in Indiana, it used to be no beer on Sunday at all.
Really?
No beer on holidays. No liquor stores open on holidays either.
Yeah.
And so basically what it was is Dollar General went up to bat to get it changed because they wanted to start carrying alcohol in their stores.
Yeah.
And like wine and beer and shit, not spirits. But so now they got it to where they can sell during from 12 to 8.
Nice.
So
I think the only time you can't buy alcohol here is 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. for like drinking and driving purposes. Other than that, you're pretty good the other 20 hours a day. So
that's interesting. That's the weird shit that, it makes me think about how like we technologically came so fucking far, but yet we're still fucking the same fucking pilgrims in like 1698.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, brother Hezekiah down here gets a little drunk at between 2 and 5, so we can't have any beer then.
Yeah, my favorite one is electronic banking taking weekends off.
Oh yeah.
It's like, why does this computer care if it's a fucking Saturday or a holiday or any fucking day? Right. Why can't they just fucking post the next day? Who cares?
Well, here's the dumb shit thing is like my mom banked at a place that did something similar. And what her bank did was fucking, if you got in after 2 o'clock on any day, it posted the next day.
Right.
Okay. Except for fucking Saturday. If you went in at fucking so you would think that but here's the thing. Friday, if you got in at 2:15 on Friday, your deposit would go in on Monday. Not on Saturday, which was a working day for them.
Yeah.
But everything that went in on Saturday got posted that fucking day.
Really?
Yes.
Fucking weird, man. I don't
that. Yeah. Is that not fucking stupid? It's like that. I'm at the banking part in Better Call Saul.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
So I'm like really into the banking shit right now.
Yeah.
He did the cool fucking job interview thing.
Mm-hmm.
Cost of opportunity and shit like that. And where he sold was like, well, you could start right now. And he's like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Are you unhinged?
When you get done with that and watch El Camino, we'll do a comprehensive break.
I've already done El Camino.
Oh, you have? Okay. Well, we'll talk about it later. But yeah, once you get done with Better Call Saul, we'll get a comprehensive Breaking Bad.
Oh, really? That's a lot to cover in three things.
Well, El Camino is only like one movie. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, I know, but you got 6 seasons of Better Call Saul and 5 seasons of Breaking Bad.
This is true. Maybe we'll do 2. I don't know. Or 3. Yeah. All right, Mark. Well, before everyone just probably already tuned out and we're just sitting here talking to each other.
Not at all. Everybody's here.
If you stay to the end, let us know.
If you stay to the end and you say kerfluffle to me at metalforgeradio@gmail.com. I will send you a Metal Forge shirt.
Nice. I might do that because I haven't got a Metal Forge shirt yet.
No, you're disqualified. You're already at
Friends and family disqualified.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
One winner every 30 days. One from one household.
Yeah, Mark runs a tight ship. Well, you will not get a Mudhorn shirt because I don't have any, but
we need to change that.
We'll get one when we get more people. We'll get some. But thanks everyone for watching. The next Mudhorn episode should be up much sooner than 8 weeks. Now I am free of birthdays and other shit that is taking up my free time. So now I can get back on a regular schedule. So expect to see Mudhorns more frequently and more on time. And don't forget the ALEHORN's also coming up. If you've watched this and hasn't posted yet, it won't be much longer. I got that scheduled soon. So yeah, that's all I got, Mark. And obviously Metal Forge Radio, good interviews coming up, good interviews posted. Send some questions.
Some possible cool stuff coming up.
Yep.
Like I know one interview is really just basically a 2-hour conversation between two dudes from the same scene that watching how things change.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean,
a good one.
Yeah, it should be. They're all pretty good. Like I said, even people I have no interest in, I still listen.
Oh, thank you.
There's been
he skips straight to the interviews.
Yeah. So
he doesn't listen to my monologue.
Well, Mark, I appreciate your time as always. And
definitely. And I appreciate yours too, Jason. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And remember, patreon.com/flamekeeper for early access and to help some poor folk out. Just keep it afloat. We gotta pay for the Zoom subscription and other stuff. So every dollar helps.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Take care, and we will see you next time. Keep the flame lit. Thanks for watching.
Stay heavy, everybody.